Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started here. We appreciate you taking your time to join us today. Just a quick reminder, we are recording this webinar for use later for everyone who was not able to attend. Just want to welcome you. Let me give you a quick introduction to DMC Reps and to Roundabout. My name is Scott Bush. I'm the head of team for North America. Also joined by Simon Hemmings, who is the head of team for UK and Ireland. And helping us with all things technical is Jill Siebert, who is our head of operations over in Europe. We also have, I'll tell you, DMC Reps, as you may or may not know, is a sales and marketing representation company. We represent DMCs all around the world, helping them with outbound markets in whatever markets they need. So basically, we connect you with a partner in the destination that is vetted and we know is an excellent choice for you and for your guests. So we'll be happy to give you more information about that afterwards if you have any questions. We're going to go ahead now. Let me introduce our host for today, Augustine Miletić, who is with Roundabout Travel in Croatia. Thank you for joining us, Augustine. Augustine is going to speak about enogastronomy, which is, of course, an interesting take on the food wine. The schedule for today is essentially we're going to have a quick overview of Croatia, followed by the specific topic of enogastronomy, and then later on a Q&A. If you have any questions, you'll see a chat box, which depending on your screen, it may be either on the right or at the bottom, but just look for a chat box and type your message into the chat box if you have any questions. And then at the end, we will take 10 to 15 minutes for a chat answering questions and answers about Croatia or about enogastronomy. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll turn it over to Augustine now, and you can educate us about enogastronomy in Croatia.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on your webinar. Today, I will approach you with our enogastronomy in Croatia. I will share the presentation with you, which I will go through our experiences that we have to offer, which is, I think, the best way to understand the diversity of Croatian cuisine. One moment. Sorry. Sorry, a moment. I seem to have trouble a little bit. Okay. Sorry for the wait. Here it is. Okay. The Croatian is gastronomy and enology. You all probably know about Croatia. It's a small country bordering Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, Serbia, Bosnia, so ex-Yugoslavia, part of the Balkans. It's greatly impacted, its gastronomy is greatly impacted by the neighboring countries and also the reign that was over Croatia during the Austria-Hungarian rule. Also the Ottoman Empire overthinking of Croatia, which you will also notice through our cuisine and our experiences throughout the presentation. Croatia is a small country, but with a diverse nature and cuisine across its 56 square kilometers, from shores of Dalmatia to the top of Dinara, the highest peak, from the mountain area through swamps filled Slavonia and Posavina, through all the Mediterranean, which is like the most popular region, Dalmatia. What is amazing about Croatia is that also in that small part of it, only across 56 square kilometers, We have 8 national parks and 12 nature parks. During the last few years, the Croatian popularity grew a lot because of the Hollywood films made here, and also probably the most popular Game of Thrones, for that, which impacted the rise of Dalmatian coast as a destination for Split and Dubrovnik. Also, for our gastronomy, as I said previously, we have 4 regions across the Croatia. We can split them in central Croatia, Slavonia to the east, to the west Istria, and to the south it's Dalmatia. We can also the cuisine is quite separatable in that same order. Besides central Croatia and Slavonia, which are quite similar because of the Hungary, Austria, Slovenia, Serbia, and Ottoman Empire, which greatly impacted our cuisine and also our enology. Across the Slavonia and Southern Croatia, which is the grapes that are most used, most produced are white wines for that part. Slavonia being the mass production of it in Croatia, the Slavonia territory is mostly valleys, which are great for growing the grapes across that area, and a lot of big distributors are there. And Central Croatia is more family-owned wineries, which are great for the experience that we have to offer. Both use in cuisine a lot of meat, a lot of poultry, which is also bred, and with what the biggest difference is the Slavonian black pig, which is used in a lot of meals in Slavonia, especially kulenova seka, if you're familiar with it, panceta, and such. That also, besides that, we use a lot of minced meat in our cuisine, and a lot of wild game, which is special for continental part of Croatia. Not only 30 kilometers, what's to mention about Central Croatia is that the capital of Zagreb is located right in the middle of Central Croatia, which is great because of the accommodation and what we can offer from there for the experiences that we have across that region. One of them being the Pleševica wine region, which is only 30 kilometers from Zagreb, which is also known as Croatian champagne because of this sparkling wine culture. Also, what is brewed there is also white wines, which is the culture in Slavonia, Central Croatia, and also Istria. We are better in producing white wines because of the territory than red ones. In Pleševica, we can offer a lot of. There is a lot of small owned businesses, but very successful, distributing a lot of bottles across the world. And all of that is on a small territory, so you can do a tour in a day for about 3, 4, 5 wineries. They're all quite successful. And what we organize there is also fish picnics, wine tastings, getting to know the whole process of winemaking. Also, which is interesting, you can also attend the Grape Harvest, which is seasonal if you're during that season you're traveling across Croatia in that season. And right next to Croatia, there's in the outskirts, it's a hill called Žumberak, which is quite popular for the mushroom picking, which is like a field trip for us Croatians. If you're going with your family on a weekend, you will go to maybe Žumberak for hiking, and there you will be able to come across a lot of mushrooms, which are used a lot in our local cuisine. We have also a tour organized there, which a local can get you to Žumberak hill, and you can also pick mushrooms, get to know all sorts of mushrooms that grew there, also the ones that you have to look out for. And afterwards, there is a little hill house where you can have a cooking class to make your own mushroom stew, to learn how to make it. Since our capital is located in the central region of Croatia, and Croatia is pretty much centralized, most of the best restaurants in Croatia were not the best ones, but most of the best ones in Croatia are located in Zagreb. What we do in Zagreb is it's the best place maybe to experience the whole Croatia, whole regions, whole culinary regions in one tour. What we do with it's about a day with the local, where you can have a city tour around Zagreb and also experience all the regions in a few restaurants that you can visit, where we have half-hour to 45-minute stops when you can try our local specialties. After Central Croatia, we are going towards the west to Istria, which is our most developed tourist region. We can say that it's mostly because of Austria and North Italy influence and their guests that weren't even that after the Istria was least impacted by the homeland war. So afterwards it was how can I say it? Sorry, it didn't suffer so much during the war. It was right from the beginning could distribute and give tourist services for the North Italians and the Austrians and the Germans that were financially stable and above us, that caused the great development of Istria as a region. Istria is the first region that began to be visited long ago by really because of its gastronomy, because it was diverse. Because in such a small territory, you have a continental part, which is mostly hilltops and hilltops towns. And before the roads weren't developed that much, so the continental part also used quite a lot of poultry, wild game, and like boars, deers, and such. And in the coast, you have usage of seafood, shellfish, and fish, which is in such small area it impacted greatly on the diversity of their cuisine. What they use, what is quite special in Istria is the truffles. Truffles are you can come across truffles all across Croatia, but they use quite a lot of it in their cuisine. And also their pasta, because before they were poor and they only could they could only produce grains, and they made a lot of pasta to compensate for the lack of meat during that period. So they used a lot of pasta, a lot of truffles, and also what the picture below you can see is the goat cheese which they produce and which can also be visited in one of our experiences. Quite because of their cuisine, the cooking classes, we can organize cooking classes around Croatia are all interesting, and we have all special recipes. But what is special in Istria is you can learn how to make traditional Istrian pasta, fuži and pljukanci, and you can also learn how to use truffles in your cuisine. And what is special is the brodet, traditional fish stew, which is made of onion and it's fish cooked in wine. So it's a bit, it has a bit sour taste, and it's a great specialty for our place. Sorry. All those truffles that are used in Istria also have to be gathered, and there are a lot of small businesses across Istria that are doing so. And the experience starts by tasting the local Istrian products, cheese, sausages, and such, and learning about the tradition of truffle hunting and training the truffle-seeking dogs. After which, the visitors of those experiences can go on a hunt of truffles, see if they have gotten lucky to find truffles, which is usually so not because of the visitors, but because of the experience of the dogs. Almost every time they find something, but it depends on the size, of course, of the truffles. So afterwards, they come back to the house of the small family business, and where they taste the fresh truffles and they try to use it in the cuisine. What is also great about Istria and what is familiar, what it's known for, it's olive oils. Not a large distributor as Spain and Greece, of course, Croatia, but Istria being the northest part of Mediterranean that grows olives its quality is very high. We have very high standard for olive oil also through Dalmatia, but Istria is a special region for that. Visiting olive groves and oileries is probably the best way to experience it. I can't say that it's much different than Greece or Spain, but but it's also a must-see experience in Istria. Also, when I was speaking about cheese, there is one famous goat farm in Istria called Kuparička. It produces finest goat cheese in Istria. There is also an option on that house to become a shepherd for a day and go take the goats to pasture, and also to do the chores of the of a pasture for 24 hours, and also how to learn, of course, making the goat cheese. Tasting is also included, of course. Interesting fun fact about that goat farm is that it's actually a Slovenian guy that opened it about 15 or more years ago. He was actually a lawyer before, and he decided to have a goat farm. So now he has more than 250 goats on his farm and producing the well-known goat cheese. As other regions, Croatia is a wine country, so I will speak about wineries in both Dalmatia, Istria, Slavonia, and Central Croatia. So as other regions in Croatia, Istria has also great wines. On this picture here, you can see Kabola. It's a famous winery. Maybe you can notice it also from Hitman's Bodyguard #2. It was in the Hollywood movie, which was made maybe 1 year, 2 years ago. And its Istria region is also most famous for Istrian Malvasia. As in Central Croatia and Pleševica, we can also arrange wine tours there, wine tastings, and also grape harvest. Also, what we had before is VIP dinners, special occasions like a top of the winery, which is a great, with great sights and great experience. Now we're getting to Dalmatia. Dalmatia is actually our most popular region. As you can notice, maybe from these pictures, you can see the top picture, you see Dubrovnik, and the bottom picture, you see Split, which their popularity greatly rose with Game of Thrones. In fact, Dalmatian cuisine is most Mediterranean in Croatia, since it's a Mediterranean, but more so than Istria. Rich with the Mediterranean herbs such as sage, bay leaves, rosemary, basil, thyme, which gives the dishes from the region a special aroma and taste. The traditional Dalmatian cuisine coincides with the modern nutritional trends, which prefer lightweight thermal processing food and plenty of fresh fish, olive oils, and vegetables. You will also notice shellfish or other seafood prepared like fish, which is maybe not so usual in the other countries like on grill and such. Unlike the other wine regions, which usually produce more white wine, in Dalmatia, the most common grape varieties are the red ones that thrive in rough and difficult to reach terrain on some of the most beautiful islands in the region. But more interesting in Dalmatia, in the part around Zadar, is the underwater winery tour, which is a bit different than the other wineries that you can visit, where wines mature on about 20 meters below the sea level, and for more than 700 days. There you can the visitor can dive to get its own bottles that are usually placed in amphoras, as you can see at the bottom picture, because when they are maturing it only in bottles, it's much bigger chance for sea to get in the bottle, so they have a lower percentage of success. That is one attraction that is really must see in Croatia, around Zadar. Going south or around Dubrovnik, there is a lot of in Croatian islands. We will get to the islands maybe on one of the other webinars. A lot of known restaurants are ungoogleable and approachable only by boats. In small bays around the islands, they are not so noticed, not in Dubrovnik city center, where you will get to also great restaurants, but not the same experience. One of them being the Maro Gastre, which is where Chef Bielko is in charge. He's always changing the daily menus, from which he makes up a cooking show, which you see in the bottom picture, and he's also making the new recipes on the way. He's always making the recipes from the freshly caught fish from that day, and this location itself on that bay is quite amazing. Also, the thing is that you have to go. The tour starts from Dubrovnik, and you travel with a speedboat there. And so upon your return, it's a great scenery because there's sun is setting, as you can see in the above picture, right before the evening sets in Dubrovnik, and you can go further on your tours. What's special also about Croatia is its so Mediterranean Adriatic fish. The most known of the Adriatic is giant bluefin tuna. So for visitors who want to try the skills fishing, they are welcome to come. The bluefin tuna of the Adriatics is greatly sold to Japan. So you can see that the quality, I mean, the prices probably is lower, but the quality of Adriatic tuna is highly guarded. Visitors also try the skill fishing, and afterwards they can learn, if they had luck catching the tuna, they can learn to fillet the tuna. If not, they can. Some of the other fishermen in the area probably got more lucky, so they will be able to at least try the freshly caught tuna. Not far from Dubrovnik, there lies Stone. In Stone there is a bay known for oyster breeding. There, the visitors can learn all about oyster breeding from local family businesses and try to harvest them firsthand. Tasting oyster freshly out of the sea is something really amazing. As you can see, the bottom, the hardened hands of a local farmer, and to get to know this whole process from baby oysters to when they're mature enough to be eaten. Afterwards is the northern part, as I told you before, known for black wines like Plavac Mali. The wineries of Pelješac have a bit of a distinct look because they are usually in hard to reach areas, but also as other places, other regions, we have wineries where you can have your wine tours, get to know the process of harvesting grapes, making the wine, and also wine picnics. That's pretty much across the regions what you can experience from our cuisine. We hope to see you. We hope to see you in 2022. We hope that everything will be well and that you will be interested to experience this with us. Also, around about experience, what we excel is the unique experiences, ungoogleable experiences. And if you need anything, I will now answer your questions. Let's see.